Hello, I'm Ron Strickland. This webcast is one of a series in which I'm providing some brief lectures and commentaries on topics from the courses I teach in literature and cultural studies. In this installment, I want to say some things about the social and historical context of William Shakespeare's play Othello, the Moor of Venice. Othello was probably written in 1603, and its first documented performance was in 1604. In the early 17th century, Venice was an important center for maritime trade. City-states like Venice played an important role in the transition from the feudal economic order to the emerging system of mercantile capitalism. Mercantile capitalism required different economic, political, and legal arrangements from those that had been characteristic of the feudal economic order. Venice, situated on the Mediterranean Sea, represented a new site of economic power and consequently a new site of political power. In the earlier Middle Ages, wealth and political power was absolutely tied to the possession of land mass. And the way to increase one's power would be simply to appropriate larger territories of land, along with the peasants who lived on that land and the vassals who would fight for you and keep the peasants under control to either protect what you had gained in terms of control of territory or to expand your territory. But now, money capital was becoming the primary source of wealth rather than possession of land. And here are a few details that will crop up in various places in this play and also in Shakespeare's play, The Merchant of Venice. Venice doesn't have an aristocracy exactly. Venice has what they call doges, wealthy council members of the city. They're not really aristocrats. They're not part of the land-based European aristocracy because their power is based on accumulated capital and not on control of land territory. And it's not hereditary. That's a more republican or a more democratic leaning kind of an economic system than is the feudal system with its kinship-based, family-based aristocracy. It becomes important in this play because in a place like Venice, you're encountering necessarily people from a variety of different cultures all across the Mideast and into Asia. Someone like Othello, who's from the Barbary coast, presumably North African, several references are made to how black he is, and so on. So they're recognizing him as black, not one of us, and yet he's skillful, he's talented, he's got experience, he gets things done, and he's the man they need to lead this military expedition to Cyprus. In The Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare's other play set in Venice, it's Shylock, the Jew, who can assert his rights, or at least try to assert his legal rights in Venice against a borrower who has not repaid his debt. And even a Jew in Venice can assert his rights according to the rule of law. I'm always struck by how Shakespeare, even at the very dawning of modernity, Shakespeare saw some cultural and social and political issues that would only become magnified as time went on. He already saw the tensions of class, race, and gender, for example. He saw the disruption that would be caused by this new economic and political system that was forming. And he deals with those issues in his plays in ways that I think are quite perceptive. Shakespeare's examination of issues of racial prejudice and the subordination of women are quite obvious and evident in Othello. But Shakespeare also treats class tensions in the play. This can be seen from the very beginning of the play in the dialogue in the first scene between Iago and Rodrigo. I'll pick up that thread of my discussion in my next video on Othello. But for now, I'll conclude this one. As always, if you have questions or comments, please send me an email.